Well, hopefully you've clicked on this video thanks to my very provocative thumbnail. Today is a great day to take a walk along one of Bangkok's most famous canals. I felt like a swim. The water looked really inviting, but sadly here I am rummaging around through my bag. I seem to have forgotten my swimming shorts. Oh well, there goes the provocative thumbnail. Anyway, let's get on with the video. Well, you know what they say, you're never far from water here in Bangkok, be it the river, a canal, flooding during rainy season. Bangkok itself was just a swamp 200-300 years ago, and those were ideal conditions for planting rice. Canals were dug to drain the water and irrigate the rice paddies, and these canals made way for a transportation network, and Bangkok became known as the Venice of the East. So as I sat there watching my clothes go round and round at 60 degrees last night, I thought to myself, where better for my first canal walking tour video than the Old City Moat. Known locally as the Khlong Bang Lamphu, it goes around the inner part of Ratanakosin Island. It comes in off the river next to Khlong Flower Market and then goes back out into the river underneath Bangkok'S Canal Bridge, with many historical bridges and buildings along the way. This is probably one of the most scenic canal walks in Bangkok. Before I first ever came to Bangkok, I'd only ever seen the canals in pictures or Emmanuel in Bangkok, or when Keith Floyd came here and cooked tom yum goong at the floating market for the locals, and they loved it. If you sit around in the same place long enough, you do eventually see the odd monitor lizard popping his head up, but unfortunately not for me today. Although the water looks very clean in comparison to other times. I think they've been letting river water flow through. Anyway, still not going to have a swim. Many years ago, trams ran up and down these streets on both sides of this canal, even going over some of the small bridges. Most of this canal follows Art Sadang Road, and from here we go past the back of the Ministry of Defence building and the Supreme Court, and very soon the Old City Moat will be out of sight. Well, sadly, this is the last you'll see of the Old City Moat. From that bridge onwards, that's the Pan Pipop Lila Bridge. It was put underground about 50 years ago to build the approach road for the Bangkok'S Canal Bridge, which opened in 1973. A bit of an anticlimactic ending to a very historical canal. So to get from the Old City Moat to our next canal walk, you can take a stroll alongside one of the smaller canals. These are called lorts or tubes, and they're just narrow waterways that link between the main canals. The neighbourhood you're going to walk through is quite rough and ready, and I'm not in the habit of filming the faces of the unfortunate in the name of art, but you'll see exactly what I mean. It's definitely an eye-opener. Our next canal walk is along the Khlong Bang Lamphu, and that goes from... Well, I was just about to start talking and tell you about the next canal walk, but I noticed a snake down here, and there was a cat here a few seconds ago. It went down here to investigate the snake, and I filmed it with my phone, so I'll show you some of that. Our next canal walk is along the Khlong Bang Lamphu, which starts just up here at the Pan Phar Lila Bridge and goes all the way to the river. As I set off on my walk along the Banglamphu canal, hoping to get to the edge of the river before darkness falls, I thought this is a good time to give you a bit of history on the river and a history of Banglamphu actually, because there was a lot of Lamphu trees growing around here, and with this waterway going through, a village was established, and of course Bang means village next to water. So it was called Banglamphu, and this became the Banglamphu Canal. We're talking about 200 years ago. So this canal goes right back to the beginning of when Bangkok was established as the capital city. Quick bit of advice, make sure you start this walk hungry and thirsty, because there are quite a few shops along here, street food stalls and a couple of coffee shops further along, and you'll get the chance to mingle with the very friendly locals. This canal was once a very important trade route into the old city. Everything would come through here, particularly rice. Rice barges would park up on the river at the mouth of the canal, and small boats would bring in huge sacks of rice to be sold in Khao San Road. Back in the day, of course, when it was just a rice market. But the great thing about this canal is that there's no boat traffic. That's what makes it the ideal destination if you're looking for a nicely priced hostel or hotel by the water. And even if they do start the electric boat service along here, they're quiet anyway. Everyone's a winner. This is the old Banglamphu pier. It's in a pretty dilapidated state. There once was a boat service along this canal, and it ceased around 2018 due to financial difficulties. There have been electric boats going up and down here recently. Maybe they're testing for another future boat service, which would be incredibly handy. This is the second last bridge before the canal meets the river. It's next to the Banglamphu local museum. Just down here is the old Prasu Men Fort boat pier. This was the final stop on the old boat service, and just further along you've got the water gate before the river. The last bridge is the one that takes you into the back of the Flapping Duck hostel. This is where our walk comes to an end in a very noisy Santi Chai Prakan Park. If you're going to follow in my footsteps and do this walk, then I suggest you time it so you avoid the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. every evening when the aerobics takes place. I'm off to catch some sunset shots on the river, and then I'm out of here.